Mouse PI for Hire got a 6 out of 10 rating from IGN, and for like a week straight, this game and all the reviews surrounding it completely took over my algorithm. There was a ton of discourse around this thing, and I finally said, fine, let's do it. Let's do a should you buy episode. So for me, the question is, Mouse PI for Hire, is it worth your money, and more importantly, your time? So I picked it up for 30 bucks. I played through it myself, and genuinely speaking, I don't understand this 6 out of 10 score. Now, before anyone loses their mind here, I'm not saying this is the greatest shooter ever made. I'm not saying this is the greatest story ever told. It's not reinventing the wheel here. It's not going to be some genre-defining masterpiece, but the game is polished, and that's the word I'm going to keep coming back to, right? It's clean, it's complete, it knows exactly what it is, and it's not going to pretend to be something it's not. So Mouse PI is a fast-paced run-and-gun boomer shooter, and it's wrapped inside of this old-school noir detective cartoon. It's full of cheese puns, it's full of mobsters, corrupt cops, jazz music, and absolute nonsense. It's just fun. That's really the simplest way I can describe it. It's a fun way to spend your time. So is it worth 30 bucks? Let's talk about it. The first thing you're going to notice immediately is the art style and presentation. Everything is in black and white. There are film grain effects, old school jazz, and big band music playing constantly. And the entire game feels like you're stuck in this 1930s cartoon fever dream. And I'm going to be honest, I wasn't sure how the black and white visuals were going to work in an FPS. I thought maybe enemies or interactables were going to blend together within the environment, but they did a pretty good job for what it is. And they did a good job at making important objects stand out. Doors, pickups, vents, NPCs, switches, they all contrast enough so that you rarely feel lost. That said, there are moments where distant objects can blend into the environment, and you have to use your little hint button, which sends out this little sweeping broom that looks like it's sweeping up footprints. It's a cool little detail, but you definitely need to slow down occasionally and actually explore corners of the map instead of just sprinting through like a lunatic. That said, you can also sprint through like a lunatic. It also made me think about how accessible this game is for people with visibility or contrast issues, because sometimes the visual noise can get pretty heavy and it's only in black and white. So I'd kind of be curious if people with any semblance of color blindness in any direction, how can you play this game, or does it affect you? Still, the aesthetic for this game is where it shines. The environments are awesome. You've got this gritty noir city, corrupt politicians, shady underground figures, sketchy cops, femme fatales you probably shouldn't trust, and NPCs scattered around the world willing to help you along with your cases. You could call it Old Town New York, you could call it Old Town Chicago, you could call it Gotham City, whatever version works best in your head. They did a great job designing the environments. What makes it stand out, though, is how the 3D environments contrast against the hand-drawn animations, enemies, weapon effects, explosions. It's weird in the best way possible. It's a little unnerving at the beginning because there's a mix of 2D and 3D and everything is in black and white. It's a different kind of experience. But every level constantly reminds you that this game committed hard to its style, and thankfully the gameplay does support it. Now, if you've ever played Doom or Wolfenstein or Serious Sam or Quake, you're going to understand the flow of this game. I'm not saying this game is as good as those games. I'm saying if you are fans of those or have played those, you're going to recognize the gameplay loop. Linear levels, hidden secrets, health and ammo and drops everywhere, explosive barrels are back, a lot of arena-style enemy encounters, lots of weapons, fast movement, boss fights, constant action, and that's a lot. In my opinion, modern shooters feel so obsessed with being these giant cinematic experiences, and sometimes games are allowed to just be fun. And Mouse PI understands exactly what kind of game it is and wants to be, and it commits to that the entire time. And I'm not saying the combat itself is revolutionary. If you don't already enjoy those old school run and gun shooters, boomer shooters, this game probably isn't going to change your mind. Encounters can get repetitive after several hours, and by the back half of the game, you've pretty much seen the gameplay loop. But really what kept me engaged, besides the unique design, were all the details that they packed into it. And this is what I mean when I say the game feels polished, right? The save system is a typewriter. Game hints are built naturally into the world through these posters and signs, instead of giant immersion-breaking pop-ups. The weapons change visually when they're upgraded. The lockpicking minigame has some personality. You're using your tail to break locks on doors and safes. Destroyable walls are labeled totally normal wall as like a fun, silly, cartoony type of hint. You can shoot objects hanging from ropes like giant pianos or steel beams and crush enemies in a very cartoony fashion. To me, the game constantly feels like the devs were sitting around going, oh, that'd be cool, and instead of somebody saying no, they just put it into the game. And you can tell they had a lot of fun making this thing because you're going to feel that energy throughout. And they use voice actors, and thank God they didn't do the whole like character makes weird noises when the text box appears thing, when the box pops up and they go me 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 me. Like I hate that so much. And voice acting goes a long way for me in selling a world and characters, even if the story itself isn't groundbreaking. Like I'll take voice actors any day over the weird sound effect things. And speaking of the story, it's fine. That's all it really needs to be. No one's going to be playing Mouse PI for some deeply emotional narrative masterpiece. The detective setup works, characters do their jobs, the world is entertaining enough, and the game keeps things moving. It hits basically every classic noir trope, and honestly the cheesy tone, pun intended, works in its favor. Does everything make sense? No. Do I care? No. So is it worth $30? I think $30 is going to be the ceiling for me on this type of experience. I don't regret spending it at all. I had a great time playing, but it's also something I'm not going to revisit most likely. So if you love boomer shooters or the aesthetic immediately grab your attention, yeah, I think you're going to have a good time with it, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed in the $30. If you're on the fence for whatever reason, I would wait for a sale. I think that $15 to $20 range becomes really easy to recommend to basically anybody who's curious about it. But if you're not looking at this going, yes, I want to try it, then I would wait for a sale. The campaign can last anywhere from 10 to 25 hours, depending on how much exploring, collectible hunting you do. And yes, it's replayable in theory, but I'm guessing most people are not going to come back to this game until there's some DLC for it. So all this said, I don't think this game warrants a 6 out of 10. To me, a 6 out of 10 game feels unfinished, it's forgettable or lacking identity. Mouse PI has identity all over it. It's stylish, it's polished, it's complete, it's creative, and most importantly, for me, it was fun. It's a fun title. And I don't think every game needs to reinvent the industry. I don't think every game deserves a bunch of praise. I don't think every game deserves a 10 out of 10. Sometimes a game just needs to be complete and finished when it's released, and it needs to know exactly what it is and execute that well. And for me, Mouse PI does exactly that. That's it for me on this one, guys. Thank you so much for your time. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, more should you buy videos, or anything in the World of Warcraft space, be sure to drop a sub, a comment, a like, hit all the buttons. You guys know what to do. Those are the easiest and freest ways to support this channel and help me grow. And I go by the name PvP, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.